Hi, this is Eileen from NUS IT Security. Welcome to my talk on Cyber Literacy 101. What are the top 5 cyber threats in 2020? I'm often asked, are these threats real? Would they happen to me? Seeing is believing. So the aim of this talk is to provide you with some insights on how some of these threats can be conducted. What are the top 5 cyber threats in 2020? Trendmicro shared that they have blocked 26.8 billion of cyber threat alone in first half of 2019. These cyber threats blocked include social engineering and phishing, malware and wireless attack, account harvesting, IoT attack, APT and data breach. What is social engineering? Social engineering is a psychological attack where an attacker tricks you into doing something by manipulating your emotion. For example, they can create a false sense of urgency by telling you that your account has expired, or they tell you that your credit card has been used to make a booking with a hotel or airline when you have not done so. They can also prick your curiosity by sending you documents containing salary of high-ranking officer within your organization. Or they can send you an email telling you to claim prizes by visiting a website. Social engineering is often used together with phishing to trick victims into revealing sensitive information such as their login information, financial information, and medical information. Attackers often pretend to be someone you know, someone of authority within your organization, such as your bosses or local government agency. They would send you email, text messages, or even voice messages asking you to visit websites, fill in some forms, or open email attachment. Have you ever wondered how did the attacker get your email address? For example, attacker can go to Google and find out that NUS website address is www.nus.edu.sg, and they can then use open source intelligence gathering tool to help them mine the NUS website for NUS corporate email address. Within a few seconds, this tool has extracted the corporate email address that are found on the NUS website. Now that you have your target phishing email address, what kind of emails would you send to them? You would want to send emails to them from someone they know or some topic that touch their heart. During COVID periods, hackers send phishing email to public impersonating MOM, offering COVID-19 support fund. These phishing emails bring victims to the fake MOM lookalike website, where they are asked to key in their personal data. We have also seen fake phishing email targeting NUS with links to fake temperature taking website too. Phishing emails are often carefully crafted to lure the victim into reading it and taking action. Besides preparing specially crafted email, the attacker would also need to prepare a fake web page that looks like the real one that the victim often visit and use to capture the victim credential. For example, the victim often visit Google, so the attacker create a fake Google web page. Within a few clicks, the fake Google web page is ready. The attacker send it over to the victim. The victim then visit this fake Google web page sent by the attacker. And the victim is prompted to log in to access the document shared by the attacker. Upon clicking submit, the victim is redirected back to the Google search page. The victim is puzzled. But at this moment, what has happened is that the victim user ID and password has been captured on the attacker screen. The third cyber threat is that of malware or malicious software. Have you ever wondered if your computer can get infected by just visiting a website and not key in any credentials like what we did just now? The answer is yes. When you visit a website, unknown to you, malware may start running on your computer to gather information about the software you installed on your computer, your credentials, and exploit the vulnerabilities of this software to gain remote access to your computer. The attacker thinks that the employee of the organization are rather vigilant. They have undergone many phishing drills and would probably not visit random website to key in their credentials. However, the attacker thinks that the employee would not mind visit a news web page. So the attacker has gone ahead to create a news web page. And this news web page has a special script that will allow the attacker to read the software that are installed on the victim's computer, exploit the software, and take over the victim's browser. Before he send over the special web page to the victim, he will log in to his monitoring page. Let's watch this space over here. Now, this is the victim. He visits the fake news page sent by the attacker. It says, "Welcome to fake news page." Okay, the session has expired. I got to log in again. Okay, now notice that the victim's computer information has appeared under the attacker's screen. And we notice that the victim is running IE version 11. Let's verify this over at the victim's computer. Yes, the victim is indeed running IE 11. Now, the attacker decided to redirect the victim to a beef web page that he has created. When the attacker clicks on the beef web page and he clicks on execute, we are back to the victim machine. We notice that the victim web browser is now redirected from the fake news page to the beef web page. We saw an example of how an attacker can take over your browser by just visiting a malicious website. How else can a device be infected with malware? Say when you install a Trojan application. A Trojan application is application that does what it is supposed to do and more, like collecting your information on your browsing activities and your personal information, etc. Have you heard about the Trace Together application? There are fake Trace Together applications out there which seems to help trace contact of COVID patient, and in addition, it steals your information. So how do you avoid getting your device infected with Trojan malware? Always download applications from official sources like Google or Apple. What other damages can malware do? Besides malware called spyware that steals information from you, there's also malware called ransomware that encrypts your computer data and render it non-readable and non-accessible by you. They will also request for ransom in terms of digital currency called Bitcoin. Should you pay the ransom? Even if you pay the ransom, they might not restore your access or decrypt your data. So always keep a backup of your data and restore your data from the backup. You can also search for known ransomware decryptor tool. For example, you can refer to this URL over here. There's also another type of malware called crypto malware that can steal your computer power to help the attackers earn or mine digital currency. When your computer becomes infected with this kind of crypto malware, you will notice that your computer response becomes noticeably slower. We have covered the third cyber threat called malware. Now look at the fourth cyber threat, account harvesting. Account harvesting is the process of collecting all legitimate account password and account name for a given system. Then the attackers will use these credentials to try and access other systems which they think you might own. For example, when Mark Zuckerberg's LinkedIn password was compromised, the attackers used the same credentials of his to access his Twitter, Pinterest, etc. So remember, never to reuse the same ID and password across all your systems. Have a more complicated password for important systems such as your banking system. What is the Internet of Things attacks? Internet of Things refers to devices that are connected over the internet and can communicate with other devices in real time. Can you think of some of these devices sitting right in your home? Yes, for example, your router, camera, fridge, bulb, Google Home, etc. Have you heard of cases where the IP camera for supervising children will turn into a case of privacy invasion? How did that happen? One common mistakes are that these IoT devices are often buy off the shelf and installed without changes to the default password. The default password for these devices are easily found from Google searches. Attackers could make use of powerful search engine such as Shodan to crawl information about practically any IoT devices that are connected to the internet. This is the Shodan homepage. Suppose if we are keen to find out about false cam IP camera that are connected to the internet, we can key in false cam over here and click on the search button. It will bring us to a list of false cam IP cameras that are available over the internet. To save time, I have visited the first false cam website and take a screen capture of the false cam website over here. The fifth cyber threat is that of data breach and advanced persistent threat. Data breach simply means that data are being exposed during a cyber attack. One recent massive data breach that we can probably recall is that of a SingHealth data breach, where millions of records were exposed. How about an advanced persistent threat? An advanced persistent threat refers to a cyber attack that is firstly sophisticated, where multiple techniques and tactics were used. Secondly, stealthy, when attacker would leverage on legitimate software for their attack and erases their threat. Thirdly, persistent, when attacker would maintain remote access to the target organization. Now that I have covered the top 5 cyber threats, let's look at what are the 5 best practices that we can do to protect ourselves from these cyber threats. Stay vigilant, report fishy email that you do not expect. Use strong passwords. Do not share them or reuse them across different accounts that you may have, for example, that of your social media and your bank account. Keep your operating system and software updated. Install only software from legitimate sources such as that of your Apple, Google, or that of your company. And also do install antivirus on your computer all the time and back up your data. I've come to the end of my talk. Thank you for staying tuned with me. Feel free to send email to me if you have any further queries.